Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tracking a literal cosmic MacGuffin, one that drives an incredibly epic narrative. We are unpacking the lore, the massive battles, and the totally shocking twists of Thor: The Dark World. If you've ever wondered how ancient cosmic history collides with everyday earthly science, well, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to break down the entire saga step by step.
So, think about this for a second. What actually happens when an ancient force of infinite destruction just wakes up in modern-day London? It's a completely wild premise, right? It instantly bridges the gap between eons of deep cosmic history and our very own Earth. We aren't just dealing with faraway alien worlds here. The threat is quite literally right on our doorstep, turning a bustling, modern city into ground zero for a universal catastrophe.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, Awakening the Ancient Ether.
Okay, let's dive into this. To really wrap our heads around the sheer scale of the danger facing Thor and Earth, we've got to rewind, way back, like eons ago. Odin's father, Bor, clashed with the Dark Elf Malekith. Malekith wanted to unleash a terrifying weapon called the Ether on the Nine Realms, but Bor defeated his forces on their homeworld of Svartalfheim and hid the weapon away. Malekith and a handful of his warriors, including his lieutenant Algrim, barely escaped into suspended animation. Fast forward to 2 years ago, the Rainbow Bridge, the Bifrost, is destroyed. And that brings us right to the present day. Loki is locked up in an Asgardian prison for his war crimes on Earth, while Thor is super busy pacifying the Nine Realms and repelling marauders on Vanaheim. But something massive is looming on the horizon, the Convergence.
So what the heck is the Convergence anyway? Well, it is an incredibly rare cosmic alignment of the Nine Realms. As this event gets closer, portals linking these different worlds just start popping up entirely at random. It completely breaks the laws of physics. This is the absolutely crucial sci-fi concept that anchors our story, and it perfectly explains why, out of nowhere, gravity and space in London are going completely haywire.
And what's crazy is how simple human curiosity kicks off a universal threat. Let's look at how it happens. Step 1, Dr. Jane Foster and her intern Darcy Lewis are checking out these weird physical anomalies at an abandoned London factory. Step 2, Jane wanders off from the group and gets sucked right through one of these random convergence portals to another world. And Step 3, the inciting incident of our whole story, she accidentally stumbles into Bor's ancient hidden vault and gets infected by the Aether itself. Thor, who gets alerted by Heimdall that Jane is completely vanished from his all-seeing vision, rushes down to Earth and takes her back to Asgard.
Once they get Jane to Asgard, Odin takes one look at this strange substance inside her, and his warning is, well, it's absolutely chilling. He says it changes matter into dark matter. This isn't just some parasite that's going to make Jane sick. Its release is the herald of a catastrophic prophecy. The Ether is literally a universe-ending weapon, and guess what? It's awake.
Moving right along to Section 2, Tragedy and Uneasy Alliances. Now, with the Ether awake, the whole vibe of our story shifts, and it gets dark fast. This cosmic danger is about to hit devastatingly close to home for Thor. The release of the Ether acts like a giant homing beacon, waking Malekith right up from his suspended animation. He doesn't waste a second. He immediately turns his lieutenant, Algrim, into an incredibly powerful enhanced warrior known as a Cursed. They launch a brutal, full-scale strike directly on Asgard to get the weapon back. During the utter chaos, Malekith and Algrim manage to corner Jane. In a truly heartbreaking moment, Thor's mother, Frigga, bravely steps in to protect her, and she is killed in the process. Malekith is forced to flee without the Aether, but the damage to Asgard and to Thor's family is just catastrophic. Odin gives strict orders to stay and defend Asgard, but Thor, he knows they need a totally different playbook. He realizes he has to reluctantly enlist the help of his imprisoned brother. And honestly, even while breaking out of a highly secured Asgardian prison, Loki just can't help but offer his trademark sarcastic commentary. He tells Thor, "You might want to take the stairs to the left." It's a wonderful bit of levity in a really dark moment, perfectly highlighting the tension between two brothers who kind of despise each other, but are united by the need to avenge their mother's death.
So here is Thor's totally rogue, off-world strategy. The destination? Svartalfheim, the Dark Elf homeworld. The plan? Defy Odin, bust Loki out because he secretly knows of a hidden portal off Asgard, and use Jane as bait to lure Malekith away from their home. It's a massive, crazy risk, and Thor absolutely couldn't pull it off alone. His loyal friends Volstagg and Sif stall the Asgardian guards, while Fandro helps secure their physical escape.
Against all odds, they successfully hijack a ship and head off into the unknown.
Which brings us to Section 3, the Convergence Battle. We're really ramping up to the climax now, and the mechanics of this showdown are just as complex as they are thrilling. Over on Svartalfheim, the plan goes into action. Loki tricks Malekith into drawing the Aether right out of Jane, but Thor's attempt to smash the exposed substance completely fails. In the massive fight that follows, Loki is fatally wounded while taking down the cursed warrior, Algrim, delivering this totally chilling final line, "I could see you in hell." So the crucial takeaway here is that Loki, the god of mischief, seemingly completes this beautiful redemption arc, actually sacrificing himself for his brother. Thor cradles Loki, promising to tell their father of his honorable death.
But, the threat is far from over. Let's break down Malekith's ultimate, universe-ending plan, step by step. Step 1. Having survived Thor's attack, Malekith actually absorbs the Aether right into himself. Step 2. He jumps in his ship and heads straight to Greenwich in London, which just so happens to be the exact center of the impending convergence. And Step 3, right at the peak of the alignment, he plans to unleash the Aether to plunge all the realms back into total darkness, restoring the Dark Elves to absolute dominance.
Meanwhile, Thor and Jane manage to stumble through another portal in a cave and pop back out in London, reuniting with Darcy and Dr. Eric Selvig. What happens next is this absolutely chaotic, portal-hopping finale. Thor is literally battling Malekith across multiple worlds as the convergence rips giant holes in reality. Eventually, they use Dr. Selvig's scientific equipment to hack the portals, literally dismembering Malekith's ship and transporting the villain back to Svartalfheim, where he gets crushed by his own damaged vessel. You gotta love it, science and physical brawn teaming up to save the universe.
And now, Section 4, the ultimate deception.
Now you might be thinking, okay, the story wraps up neatly right there, but no way. There is a shocking twist that completely rewrites everything we just watched. Thor returns to Asgard and very humbly declines Odin's offer to take the throne, saying he wants to live honorably, and telling Odin all about Loki's brave sacrifice. It's a really noble choice. But the reality? Oh, it's far more sinister. As Thor walks away, Odin's form shimmers and transforms. It's actually Loki. He is alive, he completely faked his death on Svartalfheim, and he is now successfully impersonating the king of Asgard. And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate long con. While Thor was out there fighting for the universe, Loki executed a massive, completely undetected power grab.
Finally, let's hit Section 5, lore and Easter eggs.
That twist alone is totally mind-bending, but before we wrap up this explainer, let's geek out a bit over the hidden trivia for all you pop culture fans out there. First up, Malekith's design. In the movie, his face gets heavily burned on the right side by Thor's lightning strike during that skirmish on Svartalfheim. This is actually a super clever, grounded homage to the comic books. In the comics, the classic John Byrne design features Malekith with a face that is naturally half purple. The film manages to nod to that iconic look through battle damage, along with the starburst design on his chest armor.
And the Easter eggs absolutely do not stop there. Remember when Dr. Selvig is briefly locked up in the psych ward after his trauma from the first Avengers film? He's using two shoes to explain convergence theory, and boom, Stan Lee makes his legendary cameo asking for his shoe back. Also, remember that giant rock creature Thor fought while pacifying the realms at the very beginning? That's a Cronin, an alien species straight out of Thor's very first comic appearance in Journey into Mystery number 83. And here's a really funny one. During the escape from Asgard, Thor accidentally smashes a statue of his grandfather, Bor. Loki cracks a joke that Thor killed him, which is actually a hilarious nod to the comics where Thor did end up killing Bor because of one of Loki's tricks.
But hands down, the most impactful piece of lore drops right in the mid-credits scene. Sif and Volstagg take a trip to visit a being known as the Collector. They entrust the Aether to him, explicitly stating that keeping two Infinity Stones so close together in Asgard would be a terrible idea. As they leave, the Collector sinisterly mutters his desire to acquire the other 5. This immediately takes the Aether from being just a standalone weapon and reveals it as a crucial puzzle piece in the overarching cosmic Infinity Saga.
Now here's a super interesting bit of behind-the-scenes trivia about this specific stone. According to the source material breaking down the film, the Collector identifies the Aether's red color as the Gem of Power. But, actually scratch that, director James Gunn later clarified that the true Gem of Power is the purple stone that shows up in his 2014 film, Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a fascinating little continuity quirk, mostly because this massive cinematic universe was still finding its footing and locking down all its rules and lore at the time.
Which leaves us with this final massive question. The Aether is secured, sure,
But Loki is secretly ruling Asgard, and the Collector is out there actively hunting down the most powerful objects in creation. With 2 Infinity Stones having been dangerously close together, who is going to collect the rest? The convergence might be over, but the race for absolute universal power has officially begun. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I hope you had as much fun diving into these details as I did.